Between age 30 and 50, the average American makes about $1.2 million. By retirement, most of them have less than $200,000 saved. The difference, over $1 million, doesn't disappear to taxes or rent or medical bills. It evaporates through a pattern so invisible that financial advisors don't talk about it, and economists don't have a name for it. It's called social expenditure equilibrium, the silent gravity of the people around you, pulling your spending toward theirs. Your 5 closest relationships determine your financial future more than your salary, your investments, or your budget, and most people never choose them intentionally. We're told the formula is simple: earn more, spend less, invest the difference. Follow this advice and financial security follows naturally. But something doesn't add up. 2 people with identical incomes, living in the same city, following similar budgets, end up in completely different financial positions by age 45. The difference isn't discipline. It isn't knowledge, it's something else entirely. Consider Marcus, fictional but built from patterns repeated thousands of times in financial data. Age 28, earning $67,000 per year, right at the median for college-educated workers. Gets promoted to $85,000 at age 32, does everything the advice says, contributes to his 401k, maintains an emergency fund, tracks his expenses in a spreadsheet. By all visible measures, he's winning. Fast forward to age 42. Marcus has $43,000 saved outside retirement accounts. His college roommate David, similar starting salary, similar city, similar life trajectory, sits at $310,000 in net worth at the same age. Neither received an inheritance. Neither had a windfall. Neither made drastically different career moves. Same degrees, comparable industries, parallel lives. What separated them happened quietly at age 29. Marcus's 3 closest friends all bought homes in an expensive neighborhood. The social pressure wasn't explicit. Nobody forced anything. It just became the obvious next step. Everyone's doing it. The group chat filled with Zillow links and mortgage rate discussions. Marcus bought too, stretching his budget to stay in the same area as his circle. This set a pattern that would repeat for 13 years. David's closest friends at 29 were focused on different things: early retirement, side businesses, geographic arbitrage, different conversation topics at dinner, different baseline assumptions about what normal looked like, different gravitational pull. You don't notice it happening because it feels like your own choices. Birthday dinners at the restaurant your friends pick, wedding gifts at the level your social circle expects, vacation destinations that match your group's Instagram aesthetic, the car that doesn't look out of place in your friend's driveway, the clothes that fit the vibe of your circle. Each decision feels autonomous, but the frame around each decision, the range of what seems reasonable, that's set by the people around you. Research from Ohio State University's Center for Human Resource Research found something remarkable. People's spending patterns correlate more strongly with their peer group's income than with their own income. Someone earning $60,000 with friends earning $90,000 spends like someone earning $75,000. Someone earning $90,000 with friends earning $60,000 spends like someone earning $70,000. The data doesn't lie. Your spending gravitates toward your social circle's capacity, not your own. This operates through 4 distinct mechanisms, each invisible until you know to look for it. The first mechanism is spending norms and baseline creep. Every social group develops an unconscious PAR, what's considered normal spending for common activities. This isn't malicious, it's not intentional, it's emergent behavior, like a flock of birds moving in formation. The group's PAR becomes your baseline, and deviating from it feels cheap, weird, like you're letting people down. Consumer expenditure data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, cross-referenced with social network analysis, reveals that 78% of discretionary spending variation can be predicted by the average spending of someone's 3 to 5 closest social contacts, independent of their own income level. Restaurants, entertainment, gifts, travel, 78% explained by who you spend time with. The mechanism plays out in real time. Your friend group picks the brunch spot, $45 per person becomes normal. Your siblings' kids get $150 birthday gifts. You feel obligated to match. Your coworkers plan a $4,000 bachelor party trip. You go along. None of these are budgeted in advance. They're reactive social decisions made in the moment, shaped by what everyone else is doing. These aren't one-time purchases. They're recurring social patterns that happen 50 to 100 times per year. $100 per week in keeping up spending equals $5,200 per year. Over 50 years, inflation adjusted, that's $260,000. Not spent on things you chose in isolation, spent maintaining social equilibrium. The second mechanism is opportunity access and information flow, the hidden economy of who knows what. Job opportunities circulate through networks before they're publicly posted. Investment opportunities, private deals, early-stage companies, real estate tips shared within circles over coffee, never making it to the open market. Practical financial knowledge transferred conversationally, never written down, never formalized. LinkedIn's data analysis shows 85% of jobs are filled through networking, but the quality of network matters more than size. Weak ties, acquaintances provide novel opportunities. Strong ties, close friends provide trust-based opportunities like investment partnerships. If your close circle works in stagnant industries, you hear about stagnant opportunities. If your close circle is entrepreneurial, you hear about equity, ownership, asymmetric upside. This isn't about networking as a skill, it's about your ambient information environment. In tech industry clusters like Silicon Valley, Austin, Seattle, people's casual conversations include stock options, equity vesting, startup opportunities. These concepts become normal, accessible, understandable. Someone in a different geographic or social cluster might never encounter these ideas until it's too late to capitalize on them. The opportunity gap isn't about access to capital, it's about access to the conversation where opportunities are discussed before they're opportunities. The third mechanism is mindset reinforcement and possibility models. What you believe is possible is shaped by what you see people like you doing. If no one in your inner circle has ever negotiated a salary aggressively, it feels impossible, rude, risky. If no one talks about money openly, you stay financially illiterate together, reinforcing each other's blind spots. If everyone believes you have to spend money to make money, or debt is just normal, those become unquestioned truths. The comparison trap works both ways. Upward comparison, keeping up with richer friends, drives overspending. Downward comparison, you're doing better than your circle, creates complacency, no motivation to optimize, no pressure to improve, you're already winning relative to your reference group. History shows this pattern at scale. Renaissance Florence's explosion of art, science, and wealth came from proximity and collaboration among polymaths. Ideas and ambition were socially contagious in that specific network. The Medici didn't just fund artists, they created an environment where genius was the expected baseline. Modern version, the PayPal Mafia. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, and others didn't just work together. They created a culture where starting billion-dollar companies was the baseline expectation, not the wild exception. Your version matters too. If your close friends think $100,000 per year is making it, your ambition calibrates there. If they think $100,000 is just the starting point, you optimize differently. The fourth mechanism is accountability and behavioral reinforcement. Your social circle either enables or disrupts your financial patterns. Friends who also carry credit card debt make debt feel normal, no urgency to change. Family who dismisses your frugality as being cheap creates social punishment for saving. A partner who resists budgeting makes it impossible to execute any financial plan. The flip side exists too. Friends who openly discuss savings rates create healthy competition. A partner aligned on financial goals provides mutual accountability. Mentors who model the behavior you want offer social proof it's achievable. Behavioral economics research from Thaler and Sunstein shows people are 3 to 4 times more likely to stick to financial goals when they have social accountability, but only if that accountability comes from people whose opinions they value. Now consider the human cost over a lifetime. Meet Sarah, 35 years old, earns $71,000 per year as a nurse. She wants to buy a home, build savings, eventually work part-time. Her 3 closest friends all work in finance, earning between $120,000 and $180,000 per year. They met in college, stayed close through different career paths. The pattern emerges slowly. Girls' trips, $2,500 each, twice a year. Her friends can afford it easily. Sarah stretches, birthday dinners at $150 to $200 per person restaurants. Sarah feels awkward suggesting cheaper options. Wedding season brings destination weddings, premium gifts. Saying no feels like abandoning friendship. Total annual friendship tax, $8,000 to $10,000. Sarah can't tell her friends to earn less or change their lifestyle. She loves them. They're not malicious, they're not trying to drain her savings, but the financial gravity is real. The math over 20 years tells the story. $9,000 per year in social pressure spending she wouldn't choose alone. Over 20 years, $180,000 in direct costs. Opportunity cost, if invested at 7% return, $391,000. That's the down payment on her dream. Gone, not to malice, to invisible social equilibrium. Your romantic partner represents the single most financially significant relationship variable. Shared expenses mean doubled impact of their financial habits. Misaligned money values create constant friction and suboptimal compromises. A partner who's financially reckless can erase a decade of your good decisions in months. A partner who's financially disciplined can accelerate your progress exponentially. Research from TD Bank found 42% of divorced couples cite money conflicts as the primary cause. Among couples who stay together but fight about money, the average annual friction cost, suboptimal compromises, emotional spending, delayed decisions, runs between $3,000 and $7,000 per year. Death by 1,000 financial paper cuts. The flip side matters just as much. Couples with aligned financial values and open money communication accumulate wealth 63% faster than individuals, controlling for income. This comes from a Fidelity investment study tracking thousands of households over decades. 63% faster, not from earning more, from moving in the same direction, making coordinated decisions, avoiding the friction tax. Then there's the family loyalty trap. Cultural and familial expectations create invisible obligations, adult children supporting parents who didn't save, siblings expecting equal gift levels regardless of differing incomes, extended family assuming you'll fund weddings, emergencies, lifestyle gaps. This isn't about being heartless, it's about recognizing the invisible contract. Did you agree to this arrangement? Is it sustainable? What are you sacrificing? Here's what almost no one realizes until it's too late. Your financial future isn't determined by your salary or your stock picks. It's determined by who you're unconsciously trying to keep up with. And you're not locked in. Relationships aren't permanent assignments. You can choose differently, not by abandoning people you love, but by deliberately expanding your circle to include people who normalize the financial life you actually want. The people who will be wealthiest 20 years from now aren't the ones earning the most today. They're the ones who built their inner circle intentionally, like they'd build a portfolio. For growth, for alignment, for long-term returns. Your relationships compound just like money. Choose them like it. This requires a shift in how you think about social connections. Start with an audit of your current circle. List your 5 to 10 closest relationships, people you see or talk to most frequently. For each person, honestly assess whether they make it easier or harder to stick to your financial goals. You're not judging them as people. You're assessing structural compatibility. Ask specific questions. Do we have similar financial values? Saving orientation versus spending orientation? Do conversations about money feel supportive or pressuring? Do they normalize behaviors I'm trying to change or behaviors I'm trying to build? The answers reveal the invisible architecture shaping your decisions. You don't have to abandon existing friends and family. You can reduce financial friction within current relationships. Set boundaries. I'm prioritizing savings this year, so I'll skip expensive trips but would love to do a cheaper alternative. Suggest alternatives. Host game nights instead of expensive dinners out. Be honest. People respect clarity more than vague excuses. With romantic partners, have the actual money conversation early, not on the first date, but before you're financially entangled. Establish shared goals and separate autonomy zones. Consider financial counseling if misalignment is creating constant friction. The cost of avoiding the conversation is higher than the awkwardness of having it. With family, clarify what you can and can't sustainably support. It's okay to love someone and not fund their choices. It's okay to say no. The guilt you feel is social conditioning, not moral obligation. Your first responsibility is to your own financial stability, then deliberately expand your circle. Actively seek people who are 2 to 5 years ahead of where you want to be financially. Not so far ahead it's irrelevant, but close enough that their path is visible and replicable. Look for people who talk openly about money without shame or bragging, who normalize the behaviors you want to build, saving, investing, negotiating, building assets. Where do you find them? Online communities focused on financial independence. Choose FI, Bogleheads, niche subreddits, local meetups, FIRE meetups, real estate investing groups, entrepreneur communities, professional organizations in fields you're interested in, mastermind groups, or accountability pods. The goal isn't to replace old friends, it's to add relationships that create different gravitational pull. If you can't immediately change your physical social circle, change your virtual one. Unfollow influencers who normalize unsustainable spending. Follow people who model financial behaviors you want. Listen to podcasts, read books, join forums where your aspirational financial life is the baseline. This creates parasocial relationships that still influence your norm setting. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between people you know in person and people you consume content from regularly. Revisit this annually. Your circle should evolve with you. Every year, ask whether your closest relationships are still aligned with your goals. This isn't cold or calculating. It's being intentional about one of the most important variables in your financial life. You wouldn't keep a stock in your portfolio that consistently underperformed. Why keep relationships in your inner circle that consistently pull you away from your goals? The resistance you're feeling right now is normal. This feels mercenary. It feels like you're supposed to choose friends based on who they are, not what they do with money. But here's the reframe. You're not choosing friends based on their net worth. You're choosing to spend more time with people whose financial values align with yours. People who make your goals easier, not harder. That's not shallow. That's self-preservation. Most people spend more time researching which index fund to buy than considering who they're building their life around. They'll agonize over a 0.5% expense ratio, but never calculate the friendship tax costing them 5% of their income every year. They'll read 10 books about investing, but never have one honest conversation with their partner about financial goals. The wealth gap in this country isn't just about income, it's about information, opportunity, and social reinforcement. Three things that flow through relationships. The people who break out of their economic class don't do it alone. They do it by finding new circles that normalize what seemed impossible in their old ones. This is why immigrant communities often see rapid economic mobility, not because they work harder, though many do, because they form tight networks with shared financial goals. Information flows freely, opportunities are shared, success is expected and celebrated. The social infrastructure supports wealth building instead of fighting it. You can build that infrastructure for yourself. It starts with recognizing that your current circle, as much as you love them, might be optimized for comfort, not growth, for maintaining the status quo, not challenging it. There's nothing wrong with that, unless your goals require something different. The people around you are either assets or liabilities in your financial life. That sounds harsh until you realize it's just true, not because they're good or bad people, because their habits, expectations, and norms either compound in your favor or against it. You get to choose which direction that force pushes. Between now and retirement, you'll make thousands of financial decisions. Most of them won't feel like decisions. They'll feel like going along, keeping up, doing what's normal. And normal is defined by the 5 to 10 people you're closest to. Change those people, even slightly, even just by adding new voices to the mix. And normal changes, your decisions change, your trajectory changes. The million-dollar question from the beginning, where does the money go, has an answer now. It goes to maintaining social equilibrium with people who have different financial capacity or priorities than you do. It evaporates in the gap between what you can afford and what your circle considers normal, and it happens so gradually, so naturally that you never see it leaving. But now you see it, and seeing it means you can change it. Not overnight, not by burning bridges or cutting people off, but by slowly, deliberately reshaping your social landscape to support the financial future you actually want. Your inner circle is the most important investment you'll ever make. Choose it like your life depends on it, because it does.